Trust me when I say, you'll be surprised by this list. Techniques, the very backbone of nearly any anime fight. They can range from a special way of doing an attack to having your very own completely original move. But in Dragon Ball, techniques are the key to raining down hell upon your enemy. And so, what better way to celebrate 100 subs than by counting down my top 10 coolest techniques. And when I say coolest, I don't mean iconic, so don't expect the Kamehameha to be number one like nearly every other list. I'm talking about the techniques that I think are just so damn wavy and just personally my favourite. So if your favourite isn't here, then too bad, just leave it in the comments or something. Also, I'm making this list now because I waited to find out if the technique Vegeta learnt on Yardrat would make the list, which it didn't. So with the trivialities now out of the way, let us begin with 10 honourable mentions. The multi-form technique. While the power split is a real drag, the real life applications of this technique are endless. The after image technique. It's such a great way to get out of a jam. The Four Witches technique. It would definitely come in handy. The Spirit Bomb. The living things of the world give you energy to kill your enemy. What more could I want? The Spirit Sword technique. It's a sword that comes out of your hand. The Destructor Disc. Because throwing spinning discs of death looks so cool. The Medaberries Fusion Dance. Let's be honest, everyone wishes this actually worked. I know I've tried. The Special Beam Cannon. It's just so damn cool. Flight. Yeah, this one's pretty self-explanatory. And finally, the technique that just missed out on the list is the Solar Flare. Because while being able to blind people is amazing, the rest of the techniques on this list are even better. So let's begin this list with number 10. Now the Mafu Ba or Evil Containment Wave is a technique recently brought back in Dragon Ball Super. It was first used in the show by Master Roshi to seal away Demon King Piccolo, and its thought to be last appearance was in the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, where Piccolo Jr. reflected it on Kami and sealed him away. However, just like with many other techniques, Dragon Ball Super brought it back, and I'm so glad it did. While it may have failed against Zamasu, Master Roshi made great use of it during the Tournament of Power. We even saw that it has no limits to who it can seal away, as even Vegeta, who was infinitely more powerful than Roshi, couldn't do anything once sealed. In real life, this would be so handy. You could use this technique to seal away all your luggage into a bottle and bring it with you onto a plane, or just seal someone away who's really annoying for a little bit. Either way, it's still awesome. Number 9. Thunder Blast Attack! Look, it's my list and I can have a tie if I want to. I honestly love both of these attacks so closely that it's too difficult to choose. Now, the Thunder Flash, his first and only appearance was during Goku's battle with Pikkon in the Otherworld tournament, in which it was used 3 times, and just looks so cool to use. The way Pikkon goes through a set of poses before unleashing a giant wave of fire just gets me so gassed. Now I know it doesn't have any sentimental value like the final explosion does, but I don't care, it's still really cool. Now the final explosion obviously means a lot because its first use against Fat Boo was the moment many grown men cried. It was also used really well to push back against Toppo's God of Destruction power. The user curls himself up and unleashes all the energy he has outwards in a giant explosion of screaming, and if you prove tough enough, it won't kill you. Imagine being able to use these, you'd look like such a boss. Well, you'd also look like such a dead guy if you're weak and use the second, but we move. Number 8. Hakai. Now, like a lot of people, Beerus completely erasing Zamasu from existence was to me one of the coolest moments in all of Dragon Ball. There's just something about a character saying Hakai and erasing everything without a trace that just gives me chills. Heck, in the manga, Goku managed to do it against Merge Zamasu. This one power is so legendary that it's reserved only for the gods of destruction, and that just makes it that much cooler to me. If I could Hakai stuff, I could erase all the world's waste dumps. Or be selfish and just Hakai anyone who pisses me off. Number 7.
Instant transmission! You gotta love it!
Teleportation. The most practical ability to have. Almost anyone can make this power look cool, even Johnny Test and his stupid super suit. Now while the instantaneous movement or instant transmission does require a person to lock onto, Goku has proved that with a little training, this move will forever be useful, even against the strongest of foes. We first learned of it when Goku returned from Yardrat after his bout with Frieza, and he showed that he could go back and forth to opposite ends of the earth in seconds. This move can also be used to tactically position yourself around your enemy, a trick used by both Goku and his evil counterpart. However, the greatest use is to escape an enemy attack when charging up your own, as shown with the instant Kamehameha. If I could only learn one technique on this list, it would probably be this one, because this is the most useful to someone in the real world. Number 6.
Ghost! Kamikaze attack!
Probably the weirdest technique on this list, but also a very underrated one. The Super Ghost Kamikaze attack was first used by Gotenks in his battle with Super Buu. The user spits out this material that manifests into little ghosts that take on the appearance of the user. These ghosts then rush the opponent and explode upon contact, hence the name. Now this technique on its own is not why it's this high on the list, it's actually because of its potential. You see, a few episodes later, Majin Buu ended up absorbing Gotenks and by default learned all his techniques. During his fight against Vegito, Majin Buu managed to make this move even better, as he managed to get his ghosts to actually use other techniques like the Kamehameha and the Gallic Gun. Imagine if Goku used this move, they would all know instant transmission, all his attacks, maybe the Kaioken to amplify their explosion powers, and maybe even Ultra Instinct. Number 5.
Right, but that's where you're wrong. Because I'm not done improving yet.
The Universe 6 arc was the first original story from Dragon Ball Super, and during its air, there was one character who perplexed us all, the legendary assassin, Hit. Both Goku and Vegeta had been building this guy up throughout the tournament, and as soon as he gets in the ring, what does he do? He annihilates our dear Saiyan Prince with virtually no effort. How was it that no one could see his attacks coming? Time manipulation. The Tokitobashi or time skip is a technique where the user skips periods of time in their own dimension, but can move freely during said period. It doesn't allow you to stop time, but instead quite literally skip it by transporting the self in the time period of the user's attack to the time period in which the attack will end. So for example, with Hit, his initially lasted for only a tenth of a second, so he gets to skip that tenth of a second and appear afterwards, making it look like he disappeared completely for that tenth of a second, when in actuality he had moved to a pocket dimension in that time. I would never be smart enough to use this technique, but Hit's skill with it is why it's taking the number 5 spot. Number 4.
This is Autonomous Ultra Instinct!
What looked like a faraway concept for Goku's ultimate form in Resurrection of F has now become a reality 3 arcs later, and in the recent Moro arc, mastery of this technique appears imminent. Now for those of you who don't believe me, Ultra Instinct is not a transformation. Yes, it makes the user look different, however should a bold character use it, they would look the same, just with the aura. Any race of beings have the power to use Ultra Instinct, as it's a skill, not a form. The fight with Jiren showed just how badass Ultra Instinct is, and to this day, it has never lost. Mastered Ultra Instinct, that is, not the Omen. Imagine being able to react to anything without thinking about it. You'd never have to tremble at the sight of a secondary schooler in possession of a blade as big as his head. Trust me, it's a real problem here in the UK. Number 3. Let's be honest, you were probably wondering where I'd put this one based off my intro, but come on, you're not a real Dragon Ball fan if you've never tried to do this one move. The Kamehameha is the most iconic attack in the history of anime. Now while it is amazing, I do love the final flash a little bit more, because the build up to the move is so much cooler, what with the lightning coming off and the different poses. They do share a spot however, because the Kamehameha is just too iconic and they're pretty much the same attack, just different colours. It was also the original wave move created by our beloved pervy turtle hermit, Master Roshi. It's also the most commonly known move in the series, with over 20 characters knowing how to do it. Number 2. Just missing out on the top spot is one of the coolest techniques introduced, the Kaioken. Without this one move, let's be honest, Goku would never have beaten Vegeta on Earth. It's come in clutch more times than you think, if you include the movies, and even though it looked like it was gonna rot away after the Super Saiyan form was introduced, Super Saiyan Blue allowed us to bring this amazing move back into the spotlight as it came in clutch throughout Dragon Ball Super against Hit, Zamasu, and even Jiren. We did get to see it mixed with Super Saiyan for a brief moment against Pikkon, but honestly, it's been used more in Super than Z. Being able to multiply your strength, speed, agility, everything physical by any amount, that is amazing. And come on, that double aura is one of the coolest things you have ever seen. Number 1. This one technique is, in my opinion, the single most badass attack in Dragon Ball history. Everything about it is amazing. Firstly, it's original. Goku has never stolen this or learned this technique from anyone else. Secondly, it's so cool to scream. And thirdly, wrapping up your opponent in a giant golden dragon that explodes? Where do I sign up? This move was first used by Goku in the movie Wrath of the Dragon against Hirudegarn to finish him off. However, it's also been used various times in GT, my favourite moment being when Goku combined it with the 10 times Kamehameha to nearly obliterate Omega Shenron. It also returned in Dragon Ball Heroes where Zeno, Goku and Vegeta used a double Dragon Fist in their Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4 forms. Look at this, no matter what, you can never deny that this attack is manly as fuck. And that is why my all-time favourite technique from the Dragon Ball franchise is the Dragon Fist. As the series continues, I'm always on the lookout for brand new techniques to fall in love with and wish I could do. And recently, Ultra Instinct has managed to work its way up. However, we still have more stories to come, and it's very possible any technique could impress me out of nowhere. But for now, these are my favourites. And please, put down yours in the comments below if you disagree. I'd also like to take this moment to thank all of you for helping me get to 100 subscribers. It's a milestone I didn't expect to reach after learning how hard it is to grow on YouTube, but with you guys' support, I'll keep producing more content. So next, let's try for 500 subs. And remember, if you lot want some wavy looking anime t-shirts, hoodies, or accessories, be sure to check out Kaioken clothing in the link below, using the code TELBY for 10% off. So once again, I appreciate you man taking your time to watch this video. Leave a like, subscribe, and bless.